Shalom Akim, Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Akwakwadesh, Barakatam to the elders and apostles of great Mr. who do well, as well as the Akim doing the work of Yahweh Hashem Shai with all sincerity and diligence of mind, without any reservations, knowing the times we're living in. And you understand that America's economy, the economy of Edom, the economy of Babylon, is a bubble economy, as you could see the title on the screen. And then you understand that the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah has warned his servants not to entrust their valuable time, their mind, to a place like this, man. That we should devote our time to something much more valuable, something that will last forever, which is the kingdom of heaven. And that's exactly what we're striving for. So as you can see, man, America's economy is not doing that well. Jobs going overseas, factories shutting down, businesses, small businesses, just giving up the ghost, you know. And then they want to keep on raising taxes, bringing all kind of legislation to make more money off the people, to encourage investment from outsiders. So I'll play this video and then you understand the reason what I'm driving at.
We began today's newscast with another market slump. There's been a couple of them of late. Yes, it recovered later in the day, but many very smart people are saying it may be a sign of some things to come. One of those is Peter Schiff. Peter is the CEO and the Chief Global Strategist at Euro Pacific Capital. He's all over the Googles, as they say, and he's all over YouTube as well. I see him there myself all the time. Really smart, passionate commentary is what he offers. Something he often has a tendency to say things, by the way, that a lot of people don't. So, Peter, thanks so much for being with us. I don't know if you caught the very beginning of the show, but I explained that there's a household debt issue of about 15 trillion out there. Is that the only debt that we need to be worried about?
Yeah. No, everybody is loaded up with debt, and it's not like we began this monetary experiment without much debt. We had a lot of debt in 2008. In fact, the financial crisis was about debt. It was about our inability to pay the debt that we had. But instead of addressing the problem and allowing debt to be paid down, the Federal Reserve led us down the primrose path into much deeper debt by keeping interest rates at zero and holding them there for so long. The Federal Reserve actually encouraged an overly indebted nation to borrow even more money. So now it's all facets of American society that are leveraged to the hilt. Individuals, corporations, the federal government, the state and local governments. So everybody is loaded up with debt. And guess what? Interest rates are now finally rising, and that means the cost of servicing that debt is going up. And this is going to be a problem, just like an adjustable rate mortgage was a big problem in 2008. When these things were resetting, people couldn't afford to pay. Well, the same thing is going to happen on a national scale. Rates are going up, and we're too broke to pay.
So the problem is, if we try and normalize things, it's going to create chaos. Is there any way that we can avoid that at this point?
No, it's impossible. In fact, because we kept it going so long, the collapse is going to be that much bigger. I mean, the sooner we face that reality, the better. But no politician wants to face that reality.
Right.
I mean, they want to pretend everything is great.
Right, of course. And by the way, the Trump tax cut, does it alleviate the concern, worsen the concern? What does it do?
Well, obviously, it makes the concerns worse, because if the government is collecting less revenue, then the deficits are getting bigger. And so now the government has to borrow even more money, and that becomes an even bigger problem. What we need is smaller government. But nobody wants to shrink government, including Donald Trump, who's now the defender of Social Security and Medicare. He wants to launch another nuclear arms race and start the Space Force. So it's all about spending more money. So Trump wants to spend more money and cut taxes at the same time. I mean, that's completely reckless.
All right, let me not ask you a question as a news guy now. Let me just ask you a question as Joe Citizen, sitting out here listening to your conversation, where I'm thinking, man, this guy's making some sense, but I'm very concerned about what he's saying. What are the signs that I should be looking for, and what should I do about it?
Well, the signs are already there. I mean, look, the stock market is falling. 40% of the S&P is already in a bear market. So the stock market is forward looking to the next recession. Looking at what's happening with the home builders, the housing stocks, the financials, the retailers, all these are the same things that were happening in 2007, leading to that crisis. So people need to be prepared. This is not only going to be an economic crisis, but a political crisis as well, because the Republicans are going to take the blame and socialism is going to be seen as the solution. And it's going to make the problems that much worse when it's implemented, 2021. So what you've got to do is get out of U.S. dollar assets. The dollar is going to be the biggest casualty along with the American standard of living. But you've got to invest in foreign assets. Look at some of the bargains in foreign stock markets, emerging markets that have been.
And I'll leave it at that, Hakim, because all this advice that you're hearing from Peter Schiff, is a reputable investor. It's not going to change anything, man. All right. So this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 8. It says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. All right. So whatever legislation they want to propose, whatever tax cuts, whatever cutbacks, to streamline the government structure, the government spending, bringing investments. It's not going to help America, man, because this is the work of the Lord. The doctrine of Babylon is about debt. It's about going against the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And as you can observe, man, the economy is in the toilet, man. It's going down the drain. It's circling the drain. And all these people that try to form coalitions to save the government, save the economy, they're not getting anywhere, man. It's just a waste of time and effort, all right? Because the downfall of America is a spiritual downfall, and then we're gonna see the physical downfall. And verse 9 says, "We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed." That means, they tried, but it didn't work out. Okay? Forsake her and let us go, everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. Alright, so these heathens have had so many businesses and investments here in America. They're just gonna pack up and leave, man, because there's no revenue coming in, and then you hear about the government needs more money, but revenue is not coming in. That's an imbalance right there, man. The expenditure exceeds the income revenue. It's a terrible sign that the kingdom of Babylon is in trouble. But it doesn't bother the elites, because the elites are the one to orchestrate this. It's through the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Alright? And then you understand exactly what the plan is, man. It's total subjugation. And it's difficult, man, for the people to come against the elites. They can't overcome, man, because the whole market has been cornered. The whole government agency, all the government agencies, man, have been taken over. Alright. So I'm going to get Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 6. It says, "Shall not all these take a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay." And that's exactly, what the nations are worried about. Debt, debt, debt. Nobody likes to be in debt. It's terrible. Household debt is so high. People got personal debt, and it's also national debt. And if America is going to go out of debt, it's not by the hands of the people. The elites will have to donate all their riches, to bring the books back in line, but they don't want to do that. It's not in their own interest, So it just lets you know how these elites think, man. They're not interested in the well-being of America. They're just using America as a cash cow to enrich themselves. And then you look at the word for thick clay. It says, I bat, I bat yet. Okay, I bat yet. Alright. Then it says, weight of pledges, heavy debt. So America is in debt, to these foreign nations, what they call a sovereign debt. They talk about a sovereign debt crisis. And then you also look at the trade war, based on tariffs that between America and China, they sell off America's debt because they don't want to go along with America's program. So the trade war is going on, and it's not gonna stop, man. It's gonna be so messed up in these last days. So as you can see, man, you know, death is not good. That's the reason why Yahweh Shai had to die for his people, for the elect, so that way they could have their debt erased, so that way their sins will not count against them, and have their faith boosted in these last days. So that's the reason why it's important to hope and pray that the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai cancels your debt away, because Yahushai is that ultimate is the ultimate healer, that brings blessings to the people, to heal the sick and make the poor, back and put them back in good financial shape, make them to be of a sound mind. Yeah, because we're doing the Most High's business, and we gotta be in proper shape. You can't be in debt. That's why the elders, encourage brothers, to put up lessons. Do something productive. Be an Israelite that's concerned about the truth of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and not to neglect the gift that's within you. So I just say, Ka Halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Nakwakadash, to the elders and the apostle of Great Stone Rule Well Shalom, and the Akim that are sincere in their works. Keep up the good, the good attitude in the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And understand, man, we're indebted to the Lord Yahushai, and that we just have to go according to his plans. We owe him for laying down his life. So there's not too much I gotta say at the moment. I gotta hurry up and get out of this this small cubicle and head to the plantation. So I can, stay faithful, stay humble. Know that your work is not in vain, and the Lord Yahweh shall reward you for going along with the doctrines of life. Shalom.